So the World Series is set. These two guys are the MVPs of the Championship Series. We're going to look at both their swings side by side and a little bit of their highlights from the Championship Series.
Do it again. Another 1-2 coming from Buehler. Rosario, deep to right. It is gone! That's down the right field line. Another hit into the corner. Alvarez digs for two. He's thinking. He's going. Leadoff triple. Alvarez, another hit.
How you doing? My name's Nick Graham. This is the GX3 Sports Performance channel. We're going to look at the biomechanics of these two individual swings. They're the MVPs. They had amazing numbers in the Championship Series. So let's look what they're doing right, how they are similar and how they're different. I know people like to see live action the whole time whenever I'm breaking down and slowing the swings down. So on this right here, we'll show real time throughout the video. So the first thing we want to look at is pitch location. So let's go back. And we'll see this pitch location. We'll go back to contact point, corner, okay? As high as it gets, as far out on the plate as it gets without being a ball. All right. You see he drives it between left and left center. Everybody's fired up. He's hot. And we go to Alvarez. We see this. Let's go back to contact point as well. Bam. Okay. And then Kazem gets it for us out there. Pretty far off the plate. Not on the white line of the other batter's box, but you got to reach for it. And he hits it over the wall. So he definitely got a piece of it. This nice foul pole view. All right, we get to see the whole frame, the pitcher and the batter. It shows us timing. It allows us to see timing. All right, what we want to pay attention to is Alvarez's foot. When does the toe touch? When does the heel touch in relationship to where the ball is? So there's toe touch. There's heel touch. And this ball is going to be roughly right here on the grass. This is a rough estimate because of the dimensions. It gives us a general idea of what we are looking at. All right, and then you can see Alvarez, and he's hitting it out in front here. Okay, roughly right here, out in front of his front foot. All right, that allows him to lift the ball, even though he's going to the opposite field. He's still getting lift on it and picking it up and getting over the monster. All right, we don't have this view for Rosario, so we can't check that one. So these two are synced up to contact, off the ball, on the ball. Okay. So let's just start here and go through similarities. Let's start from the ground up. Front foot, roughly. All right. So everything looks pretty much the same. I'll mention the difference before we go into it. Okay, your difference is going to be right here with your elbow and your elbow on the front arm. All right. So we're going to go away from that and come back to it because it's a product of things that they do differently at the beginning. So I'll explain up until this point and explain why this happens. So let's continue. Let's go back to the beginning of the swing. All right. And we are going to go to toe touch right about there. Okay, so you can see roughly Alvarez has a slightly internal rotation to his front leg. All right, but nothing too far kicked in. We would see Sometimes you see a knee in here like this on a guy, but not here. These two are similar that they stay in external rotation. The big difference here is going to be the hand level right there in relationship to the shoulders. Rosario's above, or I'm sorry, below, and Alvarez is splitting. Okay, and Alvarez has more of a forward tilt or downward tilt to his shoulders. Again, similarities and differences, both having success at the highest level. So they both work, but they also follow certain principles that are all similar. Okay, so let's erase all of this. And now from here, we're going to go to heel touch. Okay, this can commonly be a mistake when the heel gets to the ground. When the weight enters the foot is when the heel is down. All right, and you'll see, I'll run at full speed and you can see when the weight hits the leg right there. And you see that they are now in also similar positions. Okay, let's go back one frame right there. One common thing you'll see in very good hitters is this angle from the elbow to the hand to the other elbow. All right, if you put this perfectly at 90 degrees with this chest, you're going to see rough, very close to a 90-degree angle in this fixture between the elbows and the hands. All right, here it looks acute under 90 degrees, but again, we are in front of, this would be 90 degrees. If we were lined up on that, we are about here, okay, in our perception of these guys. So that changes what we see in angles. All right, but you can see that they're both in the same elbow to hand position. One difference you'll see is the barrel. All right, again, in relationship to the shoulders. He's close to down, relationship to the shoulders. He's very far above. All right, and this is going to come into that front arm that I was talking about earlier. Okay, and then you see roughly the same front leg. Okay. One important thing to understand here is that once the hips right here are slightly open, all right, if this is directly back at the picture, they're going to be slightly open here. I think Alvarez is more open than Rosario. All right, but we would have to measure that. That can come down to flex mobility in the hips, how much separation you can get. All right, but looking at the separation here in the shoulders, we'd have to measure that to know exactly what it is. The next thing you'll see happen is the front hip click open, and then the shoulder will follow. Once the hitter gets into this position of 90, it is a stable position for the front arm to then carry and pull the bat through to contact without dropping it. Okay, this arm acts as a vertical support against gravity as you're rotating. So as we go forward, you can see that arm is staying like it was at that 90 position, and they are simply rotating. And as they're rotating, the bat is staying here at 90 degrees. It's tough to see. We would have to be above them. But this angle, all right, it goes through a range of motion. All right, but as we rotate, we want to have it, once it gets past 90, we can't, it's tough to stop the barrel. So keeping that back there at under 90 and 90 gives us more control as we get out front, ability to check a swing or change location on something like a cutter. And then we will see follow through at extension, rollover. All right, you can see, pay attention to Alvarez's arms. They are straight. They are fully extended. Rosario slightly bent. You see that wrist is broken a little bit and out. Okay, and this is due to timing and pitch location. Okay, again, Alvarez had to reach out further than Rosario did, and Rosario's pitch was higher, so he had less time to get the barrel out, so he had less time to get into extension for more bat speed, but he produced enough to hit the ball out. That's all that matters. You see similar follow-throughs as far as balance and rollover point. So you see these guys are very similar in many basic fundamental movements. And let's go back to one of their biggest differences and one big part of why their extension looks a little bit different. We first want to go to the furthest loading point back. We want to connect the ear to the toe and then just draw a neutral line forward. Ear to the toe and a neutral line forward. And then we want to go to heel plant right there. Let's go there. And then we'll draw another line. You can see that Alvarez has gone forward more. Okay, giving him more forward momentum towards the pitcher. And then this entail creates more of a path and a whip in the bat path. And that is seen through his extension point and direction. So as we go through, let's get these guys rolling. Because he has more momentum going forward, his hands are going to get carried out further in that direction. Okay, because Rosario's rotating slightly more with less forward momentum, his rollover and extension point is going to happen further into rotation. Okay, your direction will produce these things. So they're key indicators of what you are doing. All right, they're not something you force. It's common for people to talk about forcing extension and not rolling over. Okay, it is a product of the swing and the anatomy of you keeping two hands on a bat and swinging your arms. It has to happen, otherwise you gotta let go.